Well, good morning, everybody. This is Pastor Jay, and I am coming to you from Cornerstone Church, and we are here today to do our Tuesday Digging Deeper devotional. Now, once again, the pace of ministry knocked me out of this particular posting yesterday, and so if you're looking for a Monday Digging Deeper this week, you won't find one. We're going to do today, and we'll see how the rest of the week goes. Ministry has been very busy, and it's been wonderful, and a lot of deep ministry. So I would covet your prayers for that. We've been talking through these last weeks about the idea of strongholds. Strongholds are arguments, pretentious thoughts, ways of thinking, paradigms that are in our minds, in our thought life, ways of thinking that keep us from fully serving Christ. And so God has been talking to us about strongholds and how he desires to break strongholds. Paul tells us in his letters to the Corinthians that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are spiritual and mighty to the tearing down of strongholds. And so we know that as Christians, we have the power to change the way that we think so that we can more fully follow Christ. And by changing the way we think, we can begin to influence others so that they change the way they think too, so that Christ becomes all in all. So we've dealt with several strongholds over the last couple of weeks. We've dealt with the stronghold of complaining and the stronghold of hopelessness. We've talked about the stronghold of unforgiveness and bitterness and fear of conflict. And we began on Sunday to talk about the stronghold of jealousy. And so the Bible tells us in Acts chapter 17 that Paul and Silas had gone to the city of Thessalonica. And in Thessalonica, they began to do a really good work, and lots of people began coming to the Lord. But then, because they were jealous, some of the Jewish members of the synagogue rose up and shut the work of God down. Jealousy has the power to shut down the work of God in our lives and in the corporate life of the church around us. Jealousy is a stronghold. Jealousy is an argument, a pretentious thought, a way of thinking, a paradigm that keeps us and, through our influence, others from serving God fully. And so we want to look at this stronghold of jealousy. What exactly is jealousy? Well, I said on Sunday that it's a zeal, a burning anger. It is something that rises up. We'll talk more about the effects of jealousy in the days ahead. But the first thing I want to address as we talk about this from the Bible, as we talk about jealousy from the Bible, we find that there are two types of jealousy. So in 1 Corinthians 13, Paul the Apostle tells us this: love is patient, love is kind, it is not jealous, or it does not envy. And the word that is used for jealousy there, or being jealous, is the word zeloo, which is translated jealousy. Burning anger, zeal against someone for what they have, right? So Paul says in 1 Corinthians, love has nothing to do with jealousy. And yet in 2 Corinthians 11:2, he says to the Corinthians, the same people who he wrote, love is not jealous to, in his second letter, he says, I am jealous for you with a godly jealousy. I am zeloo for you with a godly zeloo. So right here we discover that there is a ungodly jealousy, an ungodly zeloo, a human zeloo, and there is a godly jealousy, a godly zeloo. How can that be? What does that mean? Well, it means this, that there is a root of jealousy that manifests in humans in one way and in God and his people in another. Listen to what Paul says in this verse in 2 Corinthians. I am jealous for you with a godly jealousy. I promised you to one husband, to Christ, so that I might present you as a pure virgin to him. So Paul is desirous, out of a sense of jealousy or zeal, to help bring people to Christ, to protect them from wickedness. And the jealousy that Paul is talking about in 1 Corinthians is a jealousy that separates, divides, and brings down the work of God. So jealousy is not of itself necessarily an evil thing. It's the manifestation. It is when it becomes selfish. So that if the root of jealousy is selfish, if it's about me, right? I'm jealous of what they have because I don't have it and I want it. I'm jealous of their money. They didn't do anything more than I do to earn their money. They're not any more worthy than I am of their financial blessings. I should have their financial blessings. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to sabotage them to get their financial blessings so that I can have it. So that's jealousy in a negative context. But there's another form of jealousy. I am jealous for you. I want to protect you from all harm. I want to keep you. I see that you are going down a pathway that is so destructive. You are getting involved in bad relationships, and you're getting involved in bad behaviors, and you are falling away from Jesus. You no longer want to come to church. You no longer want to pray. You no longer want to. I'm jealous to bring you back to that. I am going to work to actively bring you back to Jesus. Do you see how that works? It's a different, it's the same root, it's the same zeal, different motivation. Right? The first motivation is completely selfish. I just want what you have. Second motivation is not, I don't want what you have. I want you to have what I have. I want you to have this deep relationship with God. And so those two things are very different. And so that's the breaking out. It's sort of like conflict. Conflict can be either healthy or unhealthy. It can be good for us or it can be bad for us. Right? Healthy conflict deals with issues where there are disagreements to bring about not consensus, but collaboration. Unhealthy conflict deals with personalities to tear people down. I just don't like you. It has nothing to do with the issues that we're dealing with. I just don't like you. And so that brings about unhealthy conflict. It's the same way with jealousy. Are we jealous because we don't have what they have and so we want what they have? Or are we jealous for them to have the goodness that we have? God has given us something so wonderful, and we're jealous, zealous that you would come away from every bad thing that keeps you from having what we have. Do you see how those two things are different? Well, I hope you do. This has been the beginning of our discussion to whet our appetites to get rid of the stronghold of jealousy. Until we meet again, God bless you and be at peace.